Sandy Fire has a rich and storied history, from its founding in 1908 to where we are today, 2025. Looking at some different things that occurred this year, I thought we have so many new people. We've hit 103 people this year. With the new Fire Station 31 being constructed, that it's important and timely that we take a look back of where did we come from, and so that a lot of our new people can realize what makes Sandy City such an outstanding place to work.
The early history of the Sandy Fire Department started before the fire department was actually organized. The city first hired a fire inspector in 1893. Fires, when they broke out, proved to be devastating to the community. So an inspector was the very first position they hired to prevent fires from happening. The department continued to grow, and in 1908, they formed the first official fire department with 12 members. 1912, they had a Sandy Youth Fire Club that trained people from ages 12 to 14 some of the arts of being a firefighter and being physically fit. 1928, they bought a Model A chassis, 3-tank chemical truck. The city actually bought that, but the firemen outfitted out of their own funds. That was very innovative for the time, and that innovation's continued through this day. As the city expanded and grew, so did the fire department, moving to its first fire station and eventually moving to multiple fire stations. In Sandy City, firefighters continued their dedication by saving up enough money through fundraisers, boxing matches, and baseball games to raise the funds to buy a bell that was used to alert fire department members of the need to respond to a firefighter. Not only did they raise the money for the bell, but they built the bell tower where the bell hung at the Old Town Station on Main Street in Sandy City. They used this bell for years until 1939, at which time they went to a roller siren that worked similar to what the bell did, but it was louder, carried longer, and they would ring it in different ways to dictate not only the apparatus that needed to be taken to the scene, but the direction of the fire.
I started in 1962 at the old fire station. I actually volunteered for 24 years. In those early days, we never really had a lot of training. We had training, but we never had anybody who was a professional to do it. And we just have to learn off of each other. That was the days we were hanging on the back of the truck. But as time passed and as Sandy grew and they went full time, we learned a lot. But it was the companionship was outstanding. And we had a good fire department.
I started in 1975 as a volunteer. When we came on, we were making $625 a month. It was hard back then, but every day was different. Every day was great. Every day I got to go out and help people. I just got to help them with their worst point. You know, whether it was fighting fires. I was lucky enough, we delivered 2 babies. I've never been called so many names by a lady in my life, you know, and then find out she's a churchgoer. I thought, whoa, they know those words too. What a great career. I lived the dream. It changed a lot. We had the old fire station, which was volunteer, but then we went full-time in there. Before you know it, we had 5 stations, 100 firefighters on by the time I was chief. When I first started, we could sleep our whole set of shifts and never go on a call. From that, we went to running over 7,800 calls a year. You know, we didn't save them all. There were good days and bad days in this department, but overall, what a great journey.
I started as a volunteer. A year later, I had an opportunity to go full-time. We opened Station 33, Don Chase and I, and it was June 13th, 1978. And I remember the date very clearly because 10 o'clock that night, my wife called and said her water had broken and my daughter Mackenzie was born the next morning. So Don Chase spent the first night at Station 33 by himself. I served as captain at all 5 stations at one point or another. I worked with a bunch of wonderful people. Firefighters are a crazy lot, but you won't find anyone more service-oriented, more giving. Best part about being a firefighter is the positive feedback when you help somebody get through the very worst day of their lives. That's what our job is. their house is gone, their loved one is passing away. We're able to assist them in those very first stages of loss. That to me is the most rewarding.
Man, I loved it. From the first days of doing it, I loved it. I was the 10th person hired full-time. And it was tough in the beginning. Many times we went out alone on a call, go on a structure fire, driving the engine, get there, take a plug, do a 360, call it in, and hope that somebody else was there by then. That was my life. What a wonderful career. Do it all over again.
I actually started painting hydrants. That's what I was hired for originally. I was the first hydrant boy, as they called me. I started painting and mapping the hydrants for Sandy City. And being around the guys at the fire station all the time, and I thought, this is great. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life. 1978, I became a volunteer with Sandy City Fire Department. We'd hear the siren go off, and there was about 3 or 4 of us, and we would just race to the station to see who got there first, who got to drive. And that was the greatest thrill, riding tailboard out of the station. Working for the fire department was just fantastic. Helping people, that and the camaraderie, the brotherhood. The time spent with the guys at the station and the time spent with the guys away from the station. I mean, I've built relationships with some of these guys that will last forever. You make good friends and you're going to have them for the rest of your life. There's a lot of calls that I went on. There's a few that will always be stuck in my head. A few bad ones that I really don't share with anybody. I enjoyed the fireside the most, being first in with the air pack on and the end of the nozzle. That was great, where it was so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face and you can hear the roar of the fire and you're working your way towards it, and that was just exciting. To me, once firefighter, always firefighter. That's a title that you carry with you for the rest of your life. You earn that title. It means a lot.
When I started, we didn't have an ambulance. We had a few EMTs. We trained here to get our certification. But the big thing is we bought our own ambulance. We raised money ourselves. I think it cost about $30,000 at the time. So that was our first ambulance in the city. We ran it as volunteers, and that was a huge change. Every time I play golf or interact with some of the firefighters that I've worked with, all we talk about is how great this career was. There wasn't a day that I got up in the morning and thought, I do not want to go to work. We loved it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Got assigned to Jim Brush at Station 33. That was my first assignment. There were just 2 of us up there. The old engine 33 was the most powerful engine we had because we had to go up all those hills. Every morning we had to check that engine off, and it blew out the darkest black smoke you ever seen in your life. Old Brush, he was walking around the bay, and I was timing it just so that I could fire that thing up, and I seen him walk right by the exhaust, so I fired it up and just completely blackened him out. All I seen was a big finger coming out of the black smoke giving me the finger. Anyway, we were continually playing jokes on each other. You had to do that to keep a sense of reality of the calls we went on. I loved it. And I had several guys that were, oh, they don't pay us enough, we don't do this, we don't that. I says, go get in the engine, we need to have an attitude lesson. It was a cold winter day. I drove him down to a roofer who was on the roof who had gloves on his hands with the fingers cut out so he could get the nails. And they were just up there shivering, putting those shingles on. I says, you know what? That's a bad job. You've got a great job. You should be thankful. When you're serving other people and helping them, there's not a better thing you can do in this life. It's the greatest job in the world. We were like a family. You could go anywhere, and if you found a fire station, went in there and asked them for anything, they were your brothers. You'd have had that. To me, it was the greatest experience of my life.
How I got started, when I got back from my mission, Matt Evans said, hey, come and be a part-paid firefighter that pays $4.25 an hour and you work a 20-hour shift, you can make $100. So I did it for that and fell in love with it the first day and applied and went through the process. And I was blessed with the best job. Our job is to make somebody's worst day a little bit better. We do that. Do it every day. I drive around the city. I live in Sandy. And there's not a day that goes by that you don't remember something. Good call, crappy call, and I just miss it. I miss the people. I miss the buzzer. I miss the call. But I don't miss it as much as I love my retirement.
The fire department 35 years ago was an amazing place to be. I loved the camaraderie. I loved responding to help people. I won't lie to you, I liked fighting fire. It was so much fun. Still is fun today. But if you're humble and you're willing to learn, you can learn anything that there is to learn. And if you humbly serve the people that you come in contact with, and service goes beyond just the call. I think service is the kids in the grocery store. I think service is teaching people about fire and how to avoid fire. I don't know if it's possible to master this business. I've been doing it for a long time, and I've been to a lot of classes, and I still feel like I'm starting. You need to be hungry for knowledge in whatever area you want to specialize in that you can now take and serve your community and your crew with that knowledge.
It was the ultimate job. Loved helping people, loved being a firefighter, loved going on those big calls and knowing that we were helping people out. When I started on the jump seat, which was cool. You'd get in the back seat and right out in the open air, cruising down the road, headed to the fire. And that was a lot of fun.
I started in 1995. I got on with the volunteer program. Started just pulling a whole bunch of shifts and just fell in love with the whole idea of it, working together as a team to solve problems. And after I had been on for 5 or 6 months, I went to paramedic school. I've been with Sandy Fire now for 30 years, and it's been an unbelievable change. Obviously, we're running significantly more calls, but over the years, it's been great to see the progress. When I first started, it wasn't popular to talk about difficult calls, talk about some of the mental health struggles that we would have. Now it's accepted. We are a premier professional destination department. We have outstanding people here, and I'm proud to be part of it.
I've just enjoyed being able to come to work and the friendships and the camaraderie and be able to go and help people in a bad time. One thing I've told my guys that are new is we're here to help each other as well as the people we go to serve. Have each other's back. Take the time in the morning to get to know the other guys, get to know their lives, who they are. To me, it's a big deal. To be a firefighter means that we are completely trusted by the public. That's an incredible amount of trust and confidence that they have in us. So I think it's important that we meet that we live up to it.
I love Sandy City. I love the culture here. I think that's something that we can really pride ourselves on and hang our hat on is just the amazing culture. It's like a family here. I think a lot of what develops that is just attitude. Coming in here, working hard every day. We just have good people and they want to be here. They want to learn. They want to do better. And I think that's what drives us is there's always that drive here in this department to be better, to be the best department out there, to be on that cutting edge. I'm proud of the service that we provide to our citizens. And so I think that's what it is. It's coming to work every day with that attitude and working hard.
It's so exciting, it's challenging, every day is new, and I've felt that through my whole career. I consider it such a great honor working with everybody with the Sandy Fire Department, just outstanding people, personnel, and I look back over the 24 years that I have here in Sandy and just consider myself so fortunate to have been here. Looking back in the Sandy Fire history, we're approaching 125 years since its organization. As we move forward into the future, we will continue to serve the community of Sandy with dedication, with integrity, with training, and willingness and desire to serve the community.